what goes into that process once you know you have the number one pick and you probably know you're taking a quarterback, right? What goes into that evaluation process, and then how much – that was the same offseason you were hiring Cliff, right?
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury. So just talk me through like that whole – are you thinking what's the best quarterback for our head coach we want to hire? How does that work?
No, the interesting thing is Cliff being part of the hire at the time was, number one, an offensive play caller, which we thought was sort of the right trend that the NFL was going in, to be able to attach a play caller and a quarterback guy to a quarterback that's young. And really followed sort of that scenario. And then on top of that, philosophically, just to say, really, I hope to never have the number one pick again, because if I do, I'm probably not going to be the GM. So the fact that we had a number one pick, we had to take a guy that was going to be really, more than anything, the most impactful player for our team at the time. And you could have gone a number of different directions, which is why, to hash it out, feeling like that the quarterback position and having a guy of that caliber, that we couldn't pass him up, not only fitting with what Cliff did schematically, but because that position could catapult your team in the right direction faster than, say, a Nick Bosa or a Quentin Williams, who are both great players and obviously could have been the first pick at the time, especially Nick Bosa, a guy that was probably our highest graded player and a guy that I loved. We spent quite a bit of time with him and got to know him, and obviously his success is not a surprise. Yeah. But at the same time, the fact that we did jump every year in win totals and got to the point where we won 11 games and went to the playoffs, not so sure, again, that I look back on it to even know that Nick Bosa could have done that for us as much as, say, Kyler Murray could have at the time.
So when did you decide that Kyler was the guy?
Real quick, I want to let you in on a secret of how I keep my face so clean. Our sponsor, Caldera Lab, has changed the game for me with their skincare products. Skincare isn't just for girls anymore, it's for the guys too. And if you're not on the skincare trend, what are you doing? I was never a big lotion guy until I got a little bit older. I'm 28 now. You gotta take care of the skin. Caldera Lab came to my rescue and I've never felt better. I love Caldera Lab, and now you can too at calderalab.com/Adam B for 20% off.
When did you decide that Kyler was the guy?
A couple weeks before the draft, Cliff, myself, and our owner sat down and again talked about the pros and the cons and weighed it out. We had a chance to go spend time with Kyler one-on-one and talk about the baseball part of it, which was a concern, whether he wanted to play baseball, being a guy that was a first-round pick in baseball and football. Felt comfortable with where we were at there. And then really the next step was to make the decision as a unit, which we did. Everybody was on the same page. And then, prior to the draft, the big thing was to be able to start negotiating before you took the pick, because it certainly helped you from a leverage standpoint. Yeah.
How much are other top picks kind of lobbying themselves to be the number one pick during that time?
Oh, tons. And I played, I played it up a little bit because, everybody, just so they wouldn't know where we were going, or I had a back, sort of had some back channels that I could go. I'll never forget that day I called Quentin Williams' agent and I called Nick Bosa's agent and obviously told them that they were still in play, which to some degree they were if things didn't work out from a negotiating standpoint. Yeah. But, once you make those phone calls, again, you think that they're phone calls that are private and behind the scenes. Word of mouth then travels, and it sort of messes with people even more that now all of a sudden, if I reached out to those agents, who knows what's really going on. Yeah. So it created a lot of buzz, excitement.
You're kind of messing with people behind the scenes.
It's lying season. It's a time in life that you truly can lie and feel good about it.
That's great. How much during the draft are you trying to, all the GMs, how much are you trying to predict what, you're like, I know John Lynch and I really think he's going to take this guy. Is that part of the game? Like,
of course. And then some of your closer friends.
I know Lynch, you'll take this guy.
Some of your closer friends like Jason Light and Schneids and some of these guys at other teams. I mean, you just call each other and bullshit and say, like, seriously, Howie Roseman, who you taking? Yeah. And you just jack each other off and mess with each other. And sometimes we pick each other's brains. I mean, you'd be surprised at some of the conversations that, if you're close enough friends with a Jason or a Howie or a John Schneider or a John Lynch, that how much you pick each other's brains about, did you like this guy? What were your concerns? What was your medical information? Just to kind of sort of checks and balances system.
Yeah, that's got to be,
because everybody sees it differently. You'd be surprised how different war rooms can completely see things so differently.
That's got to be funny especially when the guys are your close friends and like it's draft time and they're like, you're giving each other advice and you're like, are they fucking with me though?
Yeah. And especially Howie. I tell Howie all the time, he's a poker player. You don't want to get into a match with him because he will definitely try to send you down that
he's
narrow
got
way.
to be the best right now, right?
He's doing a great job. Yeah, he's like a lot of guys that have done it long enough. You learn from your mistakes. You sort of capitalize on the things that you've done well, and just through learning experiences and growing in the business. And he's done a great job of that. A lot of those guys really, again, you learn from your mistakes. That's how you learn the most.
Yeah.